What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Today I'll be reviewing Endgame Gear's XM1r. So I've had this for around 3 months now. I've had it since October, so it's held up really well, and it's probably my favorite mouse right now. So let's get into it. The mouse costs $59.99 on their website, which is endgamegear.com, and buying off of Amazon costs $69.99. You can get it in black, white, dark frost, which is like a transparent material, something you would see out of IKEA or Crate and Barrel, and dark reflex, which is a glossy material. So here's the packaging. It's nothing special. So yeah, there is no creaking when you squeeze it, and there is no flex whatsoever. It feels like a durable piece of plastic that will last for years to come. I am very, very satisfied with how Endgame Gear has built their mouse. There's not even any bottom flex or creaking, which just adds to how well constructed it is. The mouse weighs 70 grams, so it's not lightweight like the X-Lite wireless, but not as heavy as something like the Logitech G502 or the SteelSeries Rival 310. There is pre-travel and post-travel on the main buttons, along with the side buttons as well, but it's travel that is expected and nothing major that will affect you in-game. The switches are Kale 8.0s and they feel very lightweight on this mouse. The tactility is very nice, in addition to the sound it makes as well. There is some side movement when moving the main buttons, but it's nothing major. The side buttons aren't my favorite, as they are, very small, but they do feel tactile and are fun to click. I would say the tactility is just like the Rocket Burst Pros. The scroll wheel. The scroll wheel feels tactile just like the Burst Pro, but it feels heavier to scroll with than your typical gaming mouse. I don't have any problem with using it in-game. The audio feedback isn't loud, but it isn't silent like the X-Lite wireless. So let me do a sound test real quick. The scroll wheel click feels tactile, and there's nothing special there. So the sensor they are using is the PAW3370, and it feels great in game. I don't feel any latency or anything like that. So this is a wired mouse, but the cord feels very good. I've never used a paracord before, so I don't know how those feel, but I can say that the cord is very flexible and lightweight. When you tape the cord on your desk, there is no drag feeling or anything like that. The shape feels excellent in my hand. It has been explained as the claw gripper's dream, and I can attest to that. I use claw grip on all of the mice I use, and this is most definitely the best feeling one out of all of them. The hump is near the back, and for my grip, it makes contact here and here. After the hump, the mouse just swoops down, and I think that low button height helps me aim better. Although the shape is amazing, it still has its flaws, which I will get to when I go over the cons. The stock feet are fairly okay for stock feet. From what I can remember, they had a nice glide, and there wasn't that much friction when moving your mouse around, although when moving them over a slow spot on my mouse pad, it didn't feel that good when you compare them to something like the Burst Pro stock feet, the X-Lite stock feet, or the core pads on my XM1r right now. In addition, I had this problem with both sets of stock feet that it came with. So I have here my white Endgame Gear XM1r, and I have a problem where I believe this specific piece of PTFE feet right here is uneven with the rest of the feet, which is causing the mouse to, when I tap here, to be like, it's unbalanced, so when I tap here, the mouse will kind of like move that way as well. Y'all can hear that. So I am going to be replacing it with this mouse feet, this pair of mouse feet. It's the other pair of sock feet that came with the packaging. So yeah. When I replaced the mouse skates with the bigger set, I still had the same issue. When I replaced the stock feet with core pads, I didn't feel the mouse wobble at all when pressing down on that specific spot. Also, when there were no mouse skates on the mouse and I did that wobble test, the mouse did not wobble at all. So it would be safe to assume that there's something going on with the stock mouse skates. Speaking of core pads, these aftermarket mouse skates are very nice to use. After the break-in period, the mouse skates feel smooth. I don't feel the texture of the Odin Infinity at all when I move my XM1r. There's barely any friction, if any at all, which helps with rapid movements. It also retains a lot of stopping power, which is very nice. So if you're looking to cop these mouse skates, definitely get them. They're $9.99, and you can get them off of Lethal Gaming Gear and many other vendors. My mouse was double clicking when I clicked very fast, and my scroll wheel was glitchy as well. Whenever I scrolled one step, it didn't scroll. But when I continued scrolling in that direction, it scrolled. It was weird. You can fix these bugs by joining Endgame Gear's Discord channel and downloading the firmware updates for the XM1r. But personally, I would rather have my mouse with no issues out of the box and ready to go. It is nice though that Endgame Gear is staying on top of these things. Shout out to them, for real, for real. The shape, while the shape is a pro of this mouse, there's also some cons. And just disclaimer, shape is always preference. So what I'm about to talk about right now is my personal experience. So while the shape is amazing, it felt very narrow. When I was playing games, the narrowness wasn't yeah, for lack of a better word, the narrowness wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the hand feeling that I was looking for. Although that all changed when I put on BTL grips on my mouse. The width from the grips provided the right amount of width I needed, and I now consider it an S-tier shape. The grips feel grippy, you know, as they should, although they get real dirty real quick. So they do get real dirty real quick, but you can clean them with rubbing alcohol. You can get pre-cut BTL grips or DIY sheets off of Lethal Gaming Gear for $11.99. It may seem like I'm saying the shape of the XM1r is bad, but if we're using the letter tier ranking system, I would put the stock form in A tier. And as always, shape is personal preference. I just wanted to point out my experience because I want to make sure I'm not missing out on anything when I'm reviewing something. That's all I gotta say for this mouse. I hope you guys got the insight that you needed, and I will be reviewing the Rocket Burst Pro next. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Reach! Come on, Virgo, set! Let's go!